My daddy was in the Army, and we had to go. We had to move over there. His orders that they gave him said, "You're going to move to France." So that's what we did, with me kicking and squealing. I didn't want to go. Get up and go to breakfast and just kind of walk around on the decks and look things over and go back to your room. It wasn't like a big cruiser, cruise line or anything like that. It was just an old army ship. It wasn't very pretty, but there wasn't anything designed for kids, so that's all we could do really, was just walk around and hide in the little spots there too. Because my fear was that a big octopus was going to reach up and grab me off the deck. I had a very vivid imagination. A big storm came up when we were out in the middle of the ocean, and everybody was getting sick from the boat rocking around, and they had to tie down the tables and the chairs, and they put bags at every seat because people were getting so sick they had to have someplace to get rid of being sick. I will always remember we were getting out of that area in the ship, in the cafeteria, and flying coffee pots came at us, where they had just, the boat was tossing around so much that the coffee pots were flying off the table, and you had to dodge them. In the apartment building, it was a huge apartment building, 300 years old, and it was kind of spooky in some places.
Laying in bed at night and being able to hear the mice running around the room or under her bed and not being able to sleep, and that always scared me. That still freaks me out. I don't think I would never be able to go to sleep. There's just no way I could deal with that, no way. And I never see how she did that. Just, sleeping, trying to sleep with mice running around in the room and making noises and stuff like that. So she talked about the house that she lived in was actually it was upstairs and it was over a bar. And she said that the neighborhood was pretty rough, but where they were lucky to get the place that they did live in. And another thing that she always talked about was when they had to take a bath, they had this huge concrete tub that was in the apartment, and you had to go, and it had a lid on it, so you had to move the lid off of it and fill it up with hot water, and then they took their bath or whatever, and then they had to just dip it out and go throw the water out into the courtyard behind the apartment.
I made some friends around in the neighborhood, learned how to speak French because I was playing with them all the time. And I was only 7 years old, but I had to learn how to talk to them. We couldn't just use sign language, so we just all played. But we would play hide and seek. There's plenty of places to hide. The younger you are, I learned that you can just kind of pick up, kids have their own their own sign language and stuff, and it really wasn't that hard to learn. In fact, I guess I still know some of it. There was a park that was not too far from where we lived, and it had lots of pretty things kids would like. It had peacocks, and they would be all over the place and fanning their feathers out, and there was a huge merry-go-round that was so pretty and so much fun to ride. And also, we took a little trip when we were there over to Germany and went through a king's castle, and that was very memorable. We were on a plane coming back from, we left France and then to Germany, and then we got on the plane and flew back to New York. It was a very bumpy ride on the plane. We were getting tossed around, so I was scared again. But when we got to New York, we got a new car Daddy had been paying on, and we drove back to Arkansas, where I could see my grandparents. And that was the best thing, to be back home with them.
it just reminded me how tough of a woman that she is, and she's had some ups and downs, and she bit the bullet and went on with her life, and so it makes me very proud of her. Makes me very proud of her.